This is Header's Code. Basically, if I remember correctly, you, as the main character, wake up in some sort of facility or something, and are then subjected to a deadly game known as a dating sim. Yeah. Let's start the game. See what this is all about. This seems like a very interesting concept. Darkness. More darkness. Say life begins with darkness and ends with darkness. It's probably why they're more philosophical than my situation was then, because my life had already begun many summers ago. As far as I was aware, hadn't ended yet. Something else had to have been the cause of this darkness. Clearly all this was explained by the fact my eyes were simply closed. I dozed off earlier and now I was waking up, that's all. Something did bother me about that predicament. Surface I was on wasn't a bed. While comfortable, it didn't feel like a bed. I shut wide open at the realization I was on a couch. I sleep horribly on couches, which is why I made the point of never doing it if I could avoid it. Something very unusual must have happened for me to consider it. From behind, I spied 3 people. They were discussing something with the utmost urgency. Tones were hushed, as if they were trying to ensure they couldn't be overheard. Did I have any cause for concern? No, that's too paranoid, even for me. It's like he just didn't want to wake me up. I had a feeling that was the case because one of them was Jasmine. She had no reason to keep anything from me. We really have to go soon, so I'll keep watch over him. We both decide to go. You don't have to worry. Nothing bad will get through me. And again, her words implied that she was my jailer. I hadn't seen her face to face since maybe 4 years ago now. Truth be told, I missed the times I spent with her before. That's right, she's my childhood friend. Yeah, nothing more. Except now she lived on the other side of the country, unlike the boy next to her who was named Marco. He lived much closer to me. She had an apartment after all. Once again, we were friends, nothing more. I have a feeling that is subject to change. I don't know. Judging by what we've seen of the stuff in this place, do you really think that's safe for either you or him? He was in a disagreement with her plan. His words, unlike Jasmine's, eased my mind about my predicament. She is not, in fact, my jailer. Honestly though, I wouldn't have minded that. Wait, what do you mean by not safe? Where exactly were we? If I was here with Jasmine and him, it couldn't have been so bad, but thought maybe I should ask him. Maybe he would have some answers for me, since he's pretty smart. Or maybe he would make fun of me by turning it into a joke, like he always did. At least I knew I could depend on him. After all, he's got a master's degree in some weird stuff that sounds like mathematics. I forget what it is, and obviously it's not that. And I wasn't awake enough to remember it. Instead, I tried to remember what could have brought us here. Were we in the landlord's office? My head hurt so badly. I had issues remembering anything. Looking around once more, I noticed that we were in some kind of bar, or at least there was a counter with some stools. Yeah, that wasn't the landlord's office. Decoration could have used a little touch-up. Okay, there's a poster back there that says, "You don't know what you have till it's gone." It's kind of creepy. There was a very strange painting on the wall. Yeah, I noticed that. It looked like a cross with ominous words around it. Read, "You don't know what you have till it's gone." Chill ran out my spine as I read the words in my head. This entire place was giving me the creeps, now that I was awake to take it all in. Oh, the little boy woke up. Little boy? Looked at my body only to realize I wasn't little. I was 24. That man, though, I didn't know who he was, but he was much bigger than I was. Judging by the grey hair, he was in his 50s, perhaps. Finally awake. That solves our little problem. Hope we didn't wake you up. It's okay. I didn't sleep very well. Sure won't beat the bed you just got last month. And by the way, you still owe me for that, remember? Absentmindedly nodded, but Jasmine changed the topic. I was thankful for that since I didn't want to be reminded about my debts right now. Anyway, Em and Ray came back from exploring a new area earlier while you were sleeping. You should all probably head out and find a new place too. So what she said didn't make sense. Em and Ray? I'd assume Macro was M and this guy was Ray. But why call Macro M? I was very lost, so I simply nodded, masking my confusion. Yeah, new place after heading out. Makes sense. Part of me wanted to believe this was a weird dream. That was probably the cowardly part of me. Same part was also telling me to not let them know I was up to date with the recent events. Fortunately, where others might have blighted that part, I listened to it. I always listen to it. It might have been a little on the nose to admit to myself how cowardly I was, but if there was one thing I couldn't hide from, it was that. I knew I was a coward, even if I didn't look the part. Yeah, we didn't find anything new. Makes me wonder if all this is just some kind of waste of time. I still don't have a single clue to the whereabouts of that ninth person. Whatever. The sooner we explore more, the sooner we'll be out of here. I take the punk with me again. You go with your girlfriend. That good for you? Girlfriend? Wait, I didn't know what happened before I slept, but I mean, I was not really opposed to it either because she's cute and what was I thinking? The man almost got me flustered there for a moment. It would be far too embarrassing to reveal that. I did have feelings for her, kind of. Maybe. Oh, I actually was embarrassed. Shit, there was no hiding anymore now. Felt like an embarrassed, clueless teenager. Get a grip, Simon. I just had to say something before my cheeks got any redder. She's not. It's not like that at all. You letting his teasing get to you this much? Let's just take the train and go to a new station already. Unless you want to stick around here for a little bit. Took a sidelong glance at her and noticed she looked as rosy as I was. I didn't think it was fair for her to blame me if she was also embarrassed. Macro stayed quiet, apparently thinking about doing something horrible. Felt an incredible need to leave before he opened his big mouth again. Thankfully, I was saved by an imposing man. Cursed and saved by the same man in the span of 2 minutes. That ought to be some kind of record. Whatever, listen. I'll go ahead and when you're all done here, send the punk to me. Don't take too long. I hate wasting time and I hate waiting here. Ray left the lounging area. In the distance, I could hear the noise of his steps getting fainter and fainter. Some creaking revealed he was going down a flight of stairs. This Ray person didn't seem too friendly, so I took my mind off him by turning my attention back to Jasmine and Macro. The latter was a little deflated by what I assumed was Ray calling him punk over and over. Yeah, can't wait for that. Sounds amazing. Woo. Hey, Janice. You were sure you want to head out together? Either of you can care to mix it up a little. Jasmine categorically shook her head. Nope. Well, I go wait down there too anyway. I'll take the side he didn't go to. When you're done, come down there, okay? And just like that, after a brief wave, she was gone too, and me with Macro. Looked back at me, uncertain of how to proceed. Don't make it wait too long. but I probably have a minute. I don't want to make Ray wait too long for sure. Heard him, right? The guy who could destroy me with a well-placed punch. That would at least give me enough time to talk with Macro a little. I want to die due to a horrible joke or two. Or I guess I could also head to join Jasmine right away. Do you need a quick tutorial on active searches? Okay, sure. Sometimes there will be moments where you decide the order in which events happen. These numerous interactive segments will be called active searches, or AS for short. That's what the AS and the title is for. By making choices during these segments, you can have Simon look at some things. You can also choose to talk to characters and get their input when available. These special choice icons will appear for those moments. The look icon will progress the story. It is only used for supplementary information. However, you may need to select it to find a talk or use button to progress. Both talk and use items are used to progress the story in different ways. Talk icon will be necessary when talking to a character and to trigger dialogue. The use icon will do what it says. It will use an object in question. Knowing how to talk icon does not necessarily progress the story, but use will also do so. Once you've selected anything in this playthrough, the game will save it. On any subsequent playthrough, they will show up as this to let you know you've already selected them. Note that you may need to reselect some of them to progress, even if they show up as done. This is only an indication that you've read a text or at least once before. For this first AS, it is not complicated as there are only two options. You can either talk to Marco or look at and then use the stairs, which will continue the story. Most of them will have something to let you bypass them if you wish to merely skip them. However, you may miss bits of extra information if you choose to ignore these segments. They are mostly optional, so you don't lose much if you wish to skip them. With one exception. Simon is within an escape room. Active searches are obligatory. Do you want to go through this tutorial again? No thanks, this was already long enough. Okay, yeah, let's talk to Marco. Hey, Em. I keep telling you, Marco's fine when nobody's around Simon. Apparently we're just using these nicknames in lieu of our real names, so we don't, honestly, I don't know. Jay came up with that. I'm just glad nobody has a name that starts with the same letter as mine, or it'd be terribly awkward. Yeah. That wasn't too smart. On the other hand, it could also be sweet. You don't like Eminem. I shook my head. No, I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. Everything he touches turns into a joke. Kind of like Midas, who had the power to turn anything he touched into gold. I didn't want to be turned into a joke myself, so I slowed to part from him. Yeah, I should head out too. They will get mad. Wondered why he was named Ray, and not something like R. But that would be like admitting I was a lost little lamb, and that's not really cool. Last thing I wanted to do was to give him even more ammo for his stupid jokes. Since Marco was back to hanging around in silence, I left him be. Okay, so yeah, let's go through. It wouldn't be a good idea for me to postpone joining Jasmine down the stairs, so I moved as if to leave the place. See you later then. Remember, you owe me a pizza every week for the next 6 months. I'm not gonna let you go this time. Marcus was reminding me of something. Focused on that while grumbling some farewells back at him. From my uniform side pocket, I pulled out a cap which nervously adjusted it back onto my head. Get it stashed away whenever I could. But right now, it might give me some courage. Boss wasn't here, thank God. He saw me without that cap on. He'd probably give me a truckload of swears. Normally, I hated wearing the damn thing. And here, it was kind of comforting, at least a little. Comforting because it was one of the few things that felt normal. Went down a flight of stairs, on the opposite side to the one Ray took earlier. There was some kind of little lobby between the stairs and what was beyond. Stepping outside, I found myself in the last area I'd have thought I'd imagined to. I was in the metro. It was the underground train stations connecting sections of Montreal together through multiple coloured lines. While I looked around the station, more this didn't make any sense to me. I gave up trying to understand exactly where the hell I was, because no matter what station this was, knew for a fact none of them had a spacious bar upstairs. At least there was no open bar like that directly after taking the first flight of stairs. That didn't make any sense. Jasmine came out of nowhere, having patiently waited for me down here. Earlier the others said they went out to the infirmary, so we're probably going to pass that now. Guess we got some time to kill before the train arrives, huh? Straight to the point, not even a hello. Seeing this place didn't really have her in a jolly mood. I'd completely lost, so I just nodded. However, I had a feeling Jasmine had picked up on my confusion. Taking a glance to the other side of the station, I saw Macro and Ray in the distance. Well, like she said, we had some time to kill before the train arrived. I was curious about the place, so I could either look at stuff or talk to her. Probably need to talk to her sooner or later, so it's just a question of when. Okay, we'll look around first. Okay, funny, I didn't remember the walls being like that in any station I'd seen. I hadn't visited all of them though, so maybe that's just how the station was. Station walls certainly varied widely depending on where you were at. Some of them had brick walls, while others were tiled. Some were pristine, some were decorated with graffiti. Some of them were featureless, and some of them had ads all over the place. Most of them did, to be fair. There was the open doorway we used to access the metro too. The door was thick and heavy looking. As a slightly notice from here, it looked like a solid block of metal embedded inside the wall. Okay, what about this? That wasn't there the last time I came in here. All the screens used to be suspended, but this one was mounted on the wall with 4 mega large screws behind it. Currently it was powered off. The TV was bigger than any other I'd seen. Clearly that must have cost a fortune. Macro would lose his mind if I brought something like that back home, especially if it would be considered theft. Second thought, it would be best just not to mess with it. Okay, there's a danger sign over here. Danger, staff only. That's what it said. That little maintenance hall was shrouded in darkness. That's where the staff usually went to fix all the subway problems, whenever it had any. Unless we had some sort of key, we wouldn't get back there. Only maintenance dudes were allowed to go in, so I had no idea what was inside. Hey, it was too dark in there. I could barely make out some kind of weird metallic gate. If Jasmine wasn't going in, then I assumed it was locked, or searching it wouldn't help me in the least. Next to the little maintenance hall was a yellow stripe on the ground, which stretched across the entire border of the station. If I stepped beyond it, I'd fall down into the rails. Those were the rails used to guide the trains around. Pretty dangerous. The sign next to them said 750 volts. Yikes. If I touched that, it would kill me for sure. Okay, well, the only thing left to do is to talk to her. You've been acting a bit lost. Are you sure you're all okay there? Didn't really know how to tell her. On one hand, I didn't want her to find out I had no clue about what was going on when they all clearly did. It made me look like I didn't have my stuff together. On the other hand, I was at a severe disadvantage at not understanding. Well, see, it's like that. I'm a little lost right now, to put it simply. Like, I just woke up, but I have no idea how I even got here. Luckily for me, Jasmine was a kind person who always had my back and she listened. Finally understanding what nagged me, she began explaining in vague terms. I think I know what you have right now, and that sounds like amnesia to me. Probably super dangerous if I go too fast due to how the memories are like, locked right now or something. I'll just take it slowly, then assuming it's temporary, I guess I can explain the minimum to you just so you know and understand enough at least. If you say so. I don't really know much about amnesia, but I still want to know what's going on. Where's this place? Who's Ray? Just went on comprehensively. He proceeded to move to a more open area of the station so she could tell me everything while we waited for the train. Right, so listen closely here. Must have noticed we were in a metro, and you know this is the place that links all of Montreal together. Honestly, I don't know who Ray is, so I'll talk about what I know. There are 5 color-themed lines, but you already know all this. What's really important is the fact we're actually stuck here. There's no way out. We already tried to force doors open, no dice. Instead, as some weirdo with a mask told us, we had to play some kind of game. Well, a shiver run up my spine at that. This felt a little like one of those escape the room new age reality games. Except for the fact we were clearly not paying to be entertained here. Most of all though, this place is really dangerous because if we disobey the rules, well, we're gonna die. Though I guess that weird man said like, we'll get punished, but he did explain what that entailed. I swallowed. She had to be joking. Surely it wasn't real. Someone was just toying around with us. It was then that I noticed the collar Jasmine was wearing around her neck. Come to think of it, Marco and Ray had also been wearing a collar like that, hadn't they? I didn't even need to check my own neck. I could feel one there too. Decided against touching it. It seemed dangerous somehow. I had to find someone with the number 9 to leave. So far, we aren't finding anything, no matter how much we explore. We're supposed to go to each station in a pair, you see, because I waited for her to continue, but it took a while, and as the seconds passed, I could tell she was felt like she was trying to stop herself from giggling. Because this is a dating game. Playing the dating game. Pretty much all my fears left at this moment. Instead, I was staring at it with the same irresistible desire to laugh. What the hell? A dating game? Definitely being toyed with here. That's what I think. No. Just as suddenly as the mood shifted to something lighter, it veered back to something rather uncomfortable as Jasmine stared at me, no longer amused. With the most serious tone in the world, she completed her thought. As ridiculous as the name is, someone might have died already. A glacial feeling spread through me from my feet, crawling upward along my legs to latch onto my back. It was tiny in my stomach, creating a knot in my throat. Wait, might? There's no way. That's a joke, isn't it? Besides, might? So you aren't sure? Jasmine looked at me as seriously as she could ever be. It's not a joke, and about the uncertainty, it's complicated. But if what I saw was real, someone really died. So funniest name is, this is real. Don't start getting complacent on me. This is dangerous, so don't do anything to put yourself in danger, okay? She looked discouraged at this point. Before she spoke all our train ride at our platform. Waited for a few seconds looking at Jasmine, who looked back at me. Then looked at the train again. Dating game. That was a stupid name. And yet, as she walked forward and tucked me into the train, there was no avoiding it. I was gone on a date with Jasmine then. A date that could very well kill me. I had absolutely no clue where we were going. I was having issues thinking about it due to, well, everything else. The situation was still alien. One thing was for sure, all I had been told was making me feel nauseous. Yeah, for all it was, couldn't sit down. Normally I would have, but I just needed to do something in this familiar place. A 3-step ding-dong echoed, signaling the train was leaving the station. When it took off, I reflectively grabbed onto one being to a spot. Crap. The things were full of germs. That was why I usually sat down. I had to wash my hands soon. Protein station. Security. At least that was familiar. It was the answer speaking in Lee's voice, whose entire job had been to record public service announcements for those who used the metro lines. They were in French, because we were in Montreal, of course. Translated literally, the just next station with the name of the station. However, the station wasn't named correctly. Messages must have been changed, but why? They want to make it clear what we'd find at each station. Were they worried about copyright? Nah, couldn't be that stupid. Wait to call out the developers there. Since we had some time, I decided to strike up some conversation with Jasmine. Yeah, let's talk about the current situation. According to the name of the dating game, we were going on a date. Wait, what was I thinking? A date? In here? Once again, the feeling of nausea overcame me. Why wasn't I happy about that? It must have been because... Yes, it was a date, but considering the colours, the airiness of the location, and everything else, it didn't feel like one. I was just thinking how all this is so weird. I still can't wrap my head around it. We're not really in a metro, are we? Well, so far it looks like we are. Whoever this smiley guy is, he seems to be able to remodel the stations on his own. Can't believe that. Smiley guy? I had to ask her about him. About that guy then. Oh, he's kind of a mastermind behind all this, I guess. Looked really weird, like some kind of cultist. Whatever we're in, it's not good. Mentally agreed. How did I even get into this mess anyway? Do you remember pissing anyone off? Anybody important? It was just a guy who studied artistic stuff. I had delivered the wrong pizza to the wrong person. No, even that didn't make sense. You mentioned a cultist just now. Did I anchor some sort of cult then? Chances are not only me, but also Jasmine and Mark here having done it with Slim. There's no way I had anything to do with Ray, was there? He was big and menacing. He had a Sikh that could let him move heavy objects around. Someone could have done all this, and that person had to be strong or they had a lot of help. Train stopped at a station. Seeing as Jasmine wasn't moving to leave, I didn't either. I had to follow her lead, or at least until I understood my predicament better. Instead, I took a seat on one of the various colourful benches scattered about. The last thing I wanted to happen was her to think I was useless. Needed to rest to be in shape. But I'd already rested on the couch, no? Unless I was carried there? Hey, what are you thinking about? Protein station. Laboratory. As I cut her off rather rudely as the tree set off again. I don't know. If anything's the matter, you can tell me. We're in this together. Flash a smile. Yeah, she was always dependable to a fault. Okay, let's ask her about her. Hey Jazz. You should call me Jay here, just to be safe. Right. Anyway, I meant to ask about how the job's gone. graphical designs, they're all going swimmingly. Sometimes I wonder if I should have studied further though. Not that I can justify going back right now. I've got a big client who wants me to make large nature design landscapes, and it's really difficult. Not very good because he's involving in it. And general detail of it is like, whoa. Pay is probably good to offset that though. No, you wouldn't take a job you didn't think you could do. Correct. Didn't know what to add to that, so I had nothing. Jasmine always had her shit together. Complete contrast with me. Before I could do anything else, we arrived at the laboratory. Jasmine shook her head when I rose up to my feet. This one's already done, so we don't need to go here. And the next one. That's the one some of the others chose to go to. Oh, right. You don't know about them. I don't mean Emma and Ray. We're 8 here in total. It was something that didn't feel right somehow. Amount of people was 8, but it wasn't what was nagging me. What was nagging me at me was the train's trajectory. Protein station infirmary. I had to ask her about it, but first I wanted to catch up with her some more. It was for all I knew the only opportunity I might have to do so here. Let's do about our occupation. Jasmine was looking at my outfit. That's right. She didn't really know what I'd been up to since we parted ways so long ago. You're a piece of delivery man, huh? Yeah, I guess so. It's not really flawless, I know. You using rental cars, right? Ones with the cute little signs on top with the pizzeria logo on them, so people know someone's gonna eat well tonight? Yeah, that's correct. I don't have my own car yet. I say yet, but I don't plan on doing this long enough for it to matter. Right, you did graduate. Now it's your turn to enter the magnificent world of graphic design. It's a paradise where people don't want to pay you and where everyone will critique your art forever. Except by everyone, I mean yourself. Go to think your own art is terrible and there's nothing you can do about it. And that you'll never improve. Sounds amazing. Just may caught the sarcasm in my voice. Yeah, it's really not hard to get over those things in general. People want to pay you in exposure. What is exposure anyway? Can I eat it? She ended there talking with a mocking giggle. I guess I was going to learn all of this firsthand soon enough. Hopefully. Brought everything back to my earlier thought, saying that was enough for now. My available time before the train arrived at our destination was getting shorter and shorter. So, could we just ride the train all the way to the end? No, it's impossible, because the train seems to stop at a station we haven't cleared, and it doesn't move then. In short, when it stops and doesn't go off again, a group of 2 must leave the train. The next one's taken already. After that is ours. That was simple enough. She really knew everything that was going on, huh? I was about to confront her about that, since it might give me an idea for how long this whole thing had been going on, but the train arrived at the station. I expected it to go off again this time, but contrary to what she said, the next station was not our stop. The train didn't move to leave. I had a bad feeling about this, seeing as this was apparently our destination, though both left the train momentarily. Huh. Looks like the station is actually free to explore. Is that a problem? Now that I asked, I remember what she said earlier about the others. She took the lead, stepping further ahead of me, closer to the door frame. Yeah, that's really weird, because the others went here. 2 of them did. Older guy and some really weird girl with a mask and headphones. Hey, anybody here? Jasmine called out in the station, but there was no reply. My stomach tightened as a flash of a thought went through my head. Jasmine said someone died already. could it be? Did the others also... No, no way. They'd be fine too. Sure. Shook my head to get out of that stupor. Looks like there's no one, so... Train had already gone, and the only way back was to cross the rails, take a train from the other side. But the rails were definitely too dangerous to cross. Giving a glance over there, I noticed it. Indication. 250 volts. That's the voltage going through those rails at all times. If we touched them, we would be toast. Not to mention, crossing was dangerous because what if a train was coming? Much safer alternative was to go up the stairs, cross the other side using the station above, and come back down there. I was going to suggest it, but Jasmine had other things to tell me. Looks like this is where we're going. I could have sworn the others were here, but the door is open, which means they either sold the place already or they didn't come here at all. And if they sold this place, then the train should have left earlier with us inside. Which means this is ours to deal with. Do you feel okay now? Yeah, I can handle myself. Okay, good. Upstairs, we're gonna have to solve some stuff. All the places here are kind of like escape rooms. Know what those are, right? Yep. We'll take care of most of it since you still, not entirely caught up. But I might need some help. Sure. Hey, how do I ask this? There's no time limit, I think, right? Nope. We could just take a week and we'd be fine. But we might need to eat and drink. So I guess our time limit is our biological functions. Say, you know a whole lot about this place, Jazz. Change the subject for something that had been bothering me. Looked at me with a smile and a wink. I'm just perceptive, that's all. And besides, it's been a few stations already, so I'm getting the hang of it. Though you should probably call me Jay here, so people don't figure out our names. Don't know how much Smiley can hear us here. Don't want to leave him anything compromising if he just took us at random. Smiley, is that right? Much as I'd like to ask about him, you probably don't know any more than I do, huh? She nodded and walked into the open staircase. Followed along, though when I entered, I stood there for a bit. There's a good reason for that. The staircase was the same as the lounge, but when I entered, the door closed behind me. I shut off our way back out. Took a glance over towards Jasmine, but she had already gone up the stairs. Hey, come up too. Yeah, I'm coming. But we didn't have a time limit. I couldn't stay down here and be left behind. Once again, the thought that I didn't want to appear useless came over me. That's right. I had to join her in search of this place. Only one way to go forward. I took the stairs. Arriving at the top, I saw what she meant much earlier. Remember this station as being a completely different station. I thought it was actually an infirmary. I was a little surprised by that. Perhaps I hadn't believed that the announcer told us before. Oh, there you are. This room has a lot of weird stuff. Not weird, Jay. You haven't been in an infirmary before, have you? I don't think so, no. I already searched those drawers over there. Remember that I needed to wash my hands. After touching stuff in the train, I really needed a good rinse. There was a sink next to the counter, so I made a beeline for it. That makes sense. I should have cleaned my hands too. You didn't? That's definitely a sin in one of the existing religions, I'm sure. Hey, hold up. I was going to do so, now that you reminded me of it. Not a heathen or anything. Better repent, that's right. I just meant to tease, but I didn't know if she took it that way. Not too far. There was some sort of bed. Look comfortable. Hey, you don't mind if I take a nap, right? It'll be quick, just a few minutes. Not really. I'll go search elsewhere in this place for a while, then come back here later. I'll holler if something goes wrong. Like if some slime monster crawls out the sink now that I've work it out by running the faucet. Oh, that's ridiculous now. Yet she moved away. Did I finally get back at her? I didn't know. But one thing I knew, this bed was going to give me a good nap. Maybe that's why I didn't sleep on couches too. No matter how comfortable they were, when I wake up I always felt like shit. This rest was just what I needed. Now lying on the bed, I closed my eyes and drifted off. Yeah, I don't know how you can sleep in a time like this. But the more I tried to sleep, the more I couldn't. The bed was remarkably uncomfortable. Didn't notice it until I was on it, but it was kind of hard. Like if I had seen countless years in hand with time. Probably used for short examinations. Go figure. We were in an infirmary and non-luxurious hotel suite. Raised back up and while grumbling some profanities. All in all, that entire process had taken a few minutes. Wondered what Jasmine was doing now. But since she wasn't around, I didn't really need to call out for her yet. Wait, maybe if I search around, that might be helpful. Yeah, this was a fairly spacious room after all. Jasmine wouldn't have to do everything by herself. Then she'd be grateful, and it'd be a successful date. That's probably just wishful thinking. I didn't think I could ever get to her level. Slapping my cheeks with both my hands, I woke myself up. Right, Simon, now's the time. Time to search the shit out of this place, and then call for her when I found something cool. This definitely reminds me, well, that little scene reminded me of a game called 999. But yeah, I can definitely see that this game is definitely inspired by that series. Okay, what's this? Handrail with some screws. Wondered if I could somehow take them off. Maybe. This bed was a bad bed. That was really all I had to say about it. Okay, what about this? So I don't like that the eye is similar to the one we got here. This poster was made of crude drawings, depicting weird things that the eye and the brain. It was written in a language I didn't understand. Or maybe it was just too complicated for me. Yeah, probably the latter. Whoever drew this had no artistic talent whatsoever. Sounds like me. Fan was turned off, making this room a little hotter than it should have been. I could have thought up something cheesy like it's hotter because Jasmine was here, but I didn't. Wait, damn. Thought it up and since I had to think to point it out, I didn't. Wait, I can look at it again. Even if I could take it off, the grey and the blades, which I couldn't, I wouldn't fit in there. Neither would Jasmine, most likely, as a result of all the cake she loved to eat so much. Someday I need to tell her the way of eating more since it just made her butt bigger. Figured some people might think that's a good thing, but her health's on the line here. That was kind of rude. Okay. It was just a sink with cleaning supplies underneath it. Nothing worth noting. But I can look at it again, so it must be something worth noting. It was still just a sink. You worked correctly. Both faucets made water flow, but it was still a sink, and nothing else. But I could still look at it. It was so shiny though. I could see my face reflected in the sink. This was a marvelous sink. What else are you going to say about it? I was lost in my own image. Time passed and I didn't feel it. All I could see was the sink. All there was in the world was the sink. Praise be to the sink. Wait, what the hell? For a moment I felt like my existence was slipping away. One of God's commandments was not to worship false deities. In a moment I decided to take that advice and get back to search. Okay, that was weird. Okay, 3 shelves were mounted above the surface of the counter. I didn't know if anything on them would be useful. There were some glasses already for some reason, pill bottles, a box. Nothing I could really combine or use in any way. This escape room sucked. Even if I weren't timed, I still felt as though I wasted time with this side. Also, it made me wonder what the purpose to all this. If this was called the dating game, why would you just put us in a room and encourage us to split up? Wouldn't the idea be that we cooperate by doing something together? Shook my head. Back to the search. Okay, listen here. The cupboard was locked. No, wait. Only one of them was locked. The other opened after I messed with it a little bit. Inside was just a coin. Nothing big. The coin itself was a little bigger than a $2 coin. On it was a large engraved 8. Was it worth $8? No way. Coins were worth up to 2, not 8. Still, it seemed useful for something or another, so I pocketed it. Okay, I can use the coin to get the screws off. Okay, but we can still look at this though. Wondered why this was called a cupboard. Was it because people first put cups inside of them? Well, that's not a board, that's a box. Wouldn't it be better to call them cub boxes? The surface on the counter was so shiny. This had been cleaned. This had been cleaned with the utmost precision. Too bad there was nothing else of interest there. Okay, let's get this thing off. Ha! The 8 coin I found earlier unscrewed the screws, preventing me from getting screwed out whatever it hit. Inside one of the ends was a small USB stick. Huh, interesting. It's probably safe to call Jasmine over since I found something important. I could also take a look around the room some more if I really wanted. Okay, well we can't really take a look around the room anymore because we're done, so let's call Jasmine. Hey Jay, our Paradigm searches. There's some rustling from a nearby area. Soon enough, Jasmine wandered back into the section, clutching in her hand a key. Romeo, Romeo, out though Romeo. What in Minecraft, an object of value with thine heart I may unlock so. Hey, whoa, you're not Jasmine, you're Jasmine, not Juliet. With her fist pushed into her hips, she looking annoyed, she stared at me like I just ruined a joke. Remember what I said about the nicknames? Oh, shit, she was right. Okay, you're Jay, not Jay. Get it? Because they're beginning the same way. And you're not Romeo at all either. Bet he'd have swept me right off my feet. Cleared my throat while she moved again, this time looking for something on one of the cupboard doors. Perhaps I could have slipped her off her feet, but only in the metaphorical sense. Looking for something? I just finished looking around this place. Yeah, a lock. I think I found it. And she inserted the key into it. Turning it, she opened the cupboard, taking out a strange tablet. She looked behind it. There's something there. I could probably get it by breaking the thing in half, but we might need it later. Oh, it's got a touchscreen. Wonder if I touched it, but it didn't light up. Jasmine and I examined the sides, and I figured it needed the USB stick I found in the wall. After plugging it in, I tried my earlier maneuver again. The screen lit up at the contact, surprising Jasmine. Oh yeah, it's opening, but the slot in the back didn't though. Only their electronics are booting up. Damn. Few these such as thou shouldn't utter those whatever that word is. You know, ain't the at the end of a word doesn't automatically make it Old English. She completely disregarded the rest of what I said. Keep your eyes on the prize, S. I couldn't see what she was staring at, but since she had the screen on the tablet aimed at herself, from what I could see of her expression, she was very puzzled. What is it? Kind of like a puzzle, I guess. Can't make heads or tails of it. There are 3 numbers. 2 of them aren't set, and the middle one is static. Middle is the number 9. Both numbers on the sides have an arrow pointing towards it. I can change the numbers on the sides, but not the middle one. So I had to make the numbers 9 by combining 2 different numbers, but that's wrong. Do you think we absolutely have to do it? Probably have to. rooms have these silly puzzles sometimes. What's inside the tablet will probably help us. Maybe we'll get the code for the keypad to lean back. Tried again and again, but she only got frustrated with it. We'll shot at it if you want. She left the tablet on the counter and stormed off. Maybe deep inside she had the same worry about me, about looking useless. Okay, I plucked the tablet and looked at it. There were 3 numbers which remind me of an analog clock, but other than that, there was another detail that was weird. The leftmost number was blue, the rightmost number was red, and the one in the middle was just kind of weird. The upper, middle, bottom and lower right lines were purple, while the others were blue and red too. She totally didn't mention that. Maybe she thought it was important. I could tell the middle number was 9 though. I tried the same thing she did, but no dice. Surely the colours were important then. Oh. The others were purple because it was blue layered over with red. So that meant the numbers I had to enter were 5 and 3 for blue and red respectively. Bingo. It worked. Hey Jay, come back. Look, it's working. It's opening. It came back just as I opened the back slot. Inside was a piece of paper with a bunch of incomprehensible scribbles. Oh, that's exactly what I need. Something stomped me over there too. Give me that. Not waiting for any sort of objection, she snatched it from me. I set the tablet aside now that it had apparently done what it was meant to do. I'll be right back. I think we're almost out of here. I patiently waited. After I took a seat and several moments passed, Jasmine came back, wearing a bright and brimming smile. Yep, the whole thing is open now. The whole thing? I locked all the doors. Also found something else. Some kind of remote with no purpose here. But, it's the kind of thing I think we should share with the others, so I'll show you at the lounge. Right, if you say so. I started towards the said doors, but Jasmine stopped me with a hand around my wrist. Wait, before we leave, I have to show you something. I would wait until your amnesia's gone, but it's kind of really important, so I can't leave it up to chance. I looked fairly worried. I had no choice, and my curiosity was piqued anyway. She led me to a room that had previously been locked off. It was somewhat featureless, except for the clear indicators that this was a one-way deal. Or perhaps it was just supposed to tell us to stop. I was about to walk in when Jasmine shook her head, keeping a tight hold on my arm. See the scanners? Apparently they check if we have the ninth person with us. That's who we're trying to find, by the way. We need to find the ninth person to leave. Otherwise... Jasmine dragged her fingers across her neck in a motion that left little to the imagination. Yeah, okay, I get you, but what now? Then, if this isn't where we have to go. Now, we're going back to the lounge. See, you can't go to these stations with more than 2 people at once, but we can for the lounge. It's a bit like our base of operations. More information. My head hurt again, as if I was trying to remember something. Seeing as she was walking again, I followed after her. We went back down the stairs, but this time we were on the other side of the station below. The reason was simple. We were going back, not forward. It took very little time and a train arrived. We boarded it and in silence, even if I could tell Jasmine looked at me from time to time, worried over my amnesia. This time, she didn't say a word though. Just like she said, if all my memories came back at once, it would be pretty painful, especially if I'd built new ones. It'd be better to not force it. Just like before the train drove through a station. Just like before the train opened its doors at a station, waited a little, then closed them again, to resume its movements. The cycle repeated a few times until we arrived all the way back at the lounge. As the announcer had said its name, I now knew this was the leisure or lounge station, which according to Desmond replaced the one at the centre, between all coloured lines. Or most of them, at least. I still couldn't wrap my head around how this huge, sprawling, very populated station could be a lounge now. Did Smiley pull some strings so nobody would be allowed to use the metro at all during this day? Or maybe this was happening during the night, since every day the metro stopped running for a couple of hours for maintenance. No, they still need to renovate this whole place. Time to go. Jessam's words took me out of my thoughts, and I left the train alongside her. If we didn't leave now, it would drive off again. I hope the others came back too. If not, well, we'll just figure out what we'll do then. And we'll have the lounge just for ourselves. Let's go. I wasn't sure if this was a good or bad. I mean, of course it was good. It was a really great event. But, it's been 4 years since I saw her. Being with her like this made me feel lightheaded. If it wasn't for this weird staircase, if it wasn't for the infirmary, if it wasn't for the lounge, yeah, if it wasn't for all those weird things, it would just be us, walking together. Taking the train, going to places, and hanging out. But this headache was growing worse and worse. I was probably on the cusp of remembering something about this situation. I held my forehead with a hand. There's no hiding it from Jasmine. She came by me with a big smile on her face. Meant to be reassuring, but I could tell she was a little worried too. Still, it was the thought that was important. No one here. Anyway, I'll go back downstairs to wait for them. Go ahead and have a real lie down this time if you want. No one's gonna bother you. They won't get through me. Once again, she flashed me a smile. Once again, I was putting it in her hands. Oh, Jasmine. I awkwardly rubbed the back of my head, embarrassed that I had to rely on other people so much. The most cowardly part about this was how I wanted her to stay here too. But I couldn't bring myself to ask her, and I instead went with what she suggested. This is probably why I was still single. Always running away. Always uncertain about what I wanted to do. This job I had, these studies I went through, they were all because I wasn't sure. I took up artistic studies because Jasmine went for them. I studied with her abroad because she decided to do it, and I didn't want to let her go alone. Didn't want to let go of her. When she finished and decided to start working, I moved back and studied more, frozen in my indecision. I couldn't go with the kind of job she was doing. I hadn't been convinced it was correct back then, and that had caused me to let go of her completely. Let's move back to Montreal from Vancouver, because I couldn't move forward. It cost me Jasmine 4 years. Of course now I regret everything, and now at least she was right here. I can finally right the wrongs of my past. Well, okay then. I'll see you in a bit. Once all was said and done, she left the area and I was free to snore away. That's what I would like to happen, at least. But the muffled sound I heard coming from the station wouldn't allow it. I fell out of the couch I'd been sitting on and scrambled to my feet in panic. What was that noise? It was a little kind of reminded me of a gunshot. I had a sudden thought for Jasmine. She was downstairs, right? Quickly I went there, running down the stairs faster than I'd ever done. I almost tripped on the way. I looked out the open doorway and a train was driving away. I just caught a glimpse of someone inside it, but I couldn't tell who it was. All I saw was a flash of sight. Whoever that person was, they had fired a shot. Was it a warning shot or something worse? I was swimming with awful possible scenarios. I mentally cursed myself. No, I couldn't imagine the worst until I'd seen it. Till then, it wasn't the worst. Life has a way of robbing you of hope the moment you think you have it. Once the train drove off, I could see something odd. Something that didn't belong. Out of the darkness of the little passage I saw a pair of legs. purple tights. Those purple tights. Jasmine? No answer. At this point, I cared little for the letter nicknames. Jazz? Is that you? Someone was here. Still no answer. First I thought Misaki Jasmine had been the one who fired the gun. But that meant maybe she could have been in the train. Maybe she would have been fine. Then again, maybe she was. Part of me thought perhaps she just knocked herself out by dodging the shot, or maybe she was playing down until the gun wielder had gone. Couldn't be sure until I took a closer look. It took all my will to gather up my courage for this, to look reality in its face. Jasmine? Answer me already. Shakingly approached her, then I knelt down in the darkness area to stare down at her and see for myself how she was. She'd be okay, right? Just as quickly as I stumped backwards until my body hit a large screen. Fell over in surprise, only to get back up, unable to believe it. That sight, that grim fucking sight, was unmistakable. Now I was confronted with the worst case scenario I imagined. Jasmine, you're... She was dead. She was dead. Jasmine, the bright, vivid, whatever that was, girl I'd known since childhood, was dead. Both my hands held my face in shock for a moment. I couldn't scream. I tried, but nothing would come out. Realization was far harsher than I could ever imagined. I didn't want to face the truth anymore. A lie was better. I wanted to run away, but I was frozen there. I just couldn't move. Even if deep inside I wanted to run away from this reality. What I was seeing was real, right? Jasmine was dead. Jasmine was dead and I wouldn't see her again. Jasmine was dead and I wouldn't hear her speak again. To top it all off, her killer was on the loose. I kept repeating it in my head. I couldn't believe it. I finally moved, but it was all pointless. I balled my hands into fists, then relaxed them. I was trembling, and I had no tears, no matter how much I tried to cry. I just couldn't shed a single tear. I was in shock, unable to breathe. I was too horrified by the truth, terrified by it, so terrified, a coward through and through. At that moment, I remembered she mentioned something about a remote, but there had been nothing like that on her when I checked her. Had it been taken by the person who shot her square in the head? Was that the reason behind her murder? That stupid remote? I had no clue what was going on. I couldn't even fathom what had happened. Perhaps due to my amnesia, I'd forgotten something important. I'd forgotten who the culprit might have been. Important clues. Need to remember them. Maybe things would be clearer when I got my memory back. Maybe Jasmine wouldn't be dead. Maybe this was just a nightmare. Maybe. It said, you don't know what happened until it's gone. I felt a chill run up my spine, because that message had been aimed at me. No wonder the words felt so ominous earlier, because if I remembered, maybe I could figure out and make them pay. Would that bring her back? No, but... All of a sudden, as I contemplated these words, an earthquake took place, shaking the room. I quickly lost my footing. What's happening? What the hell? I managed to catch myself as I fell onto the... only to roll over under the continued movement. But sliding into a wall gave a small scream of pain. Perhaps as a result of the shock and the hit of my head, that was what triggered my memory to come back. It all came back at once, leaving me breathless for several moments. All this began right here in the metro. The machine was filled with 4 colors. Blue, orange, green, and yellow were all I could see. It was also black, but black might really be an absence of color, or all colors at once. Some colors were missing, so it wasn't a rainbow. I was just staring blankly. My eyes followed the colored lines slowly. First the green, then I followed the blue, the yellow, finally the orange one. That was the one I was on. All I could see were these 4 colours. That was because my eyes were fixated upon the poster in the train. Didn't know why I was looking at it. I'd been spacing out. I was back in reality though. What was this weird dream just now? It was so strange. I was in the metro and now I can remember it already. It wasn't important then. I tried to remember why I'd been looking at the map. Right, I was taking the train with Macro. I was looking at the map to the metro because I hadn't taken it this far before. Didn't want to miss our stop. I was going to fetch her at the airport and... No, wait, I was coming back from there. As evidenced by the fact Jasmine was already here. She flew all the way from Vancouver. She lived with her as a graphics designer. She and I had gone through school together up to college. Took the same course at the Artistic Institute of Vancouver. Then we went our separate ways. While I came back home to study further by taking courses at the University of Montreal, she remained there. That meant she and I hadn't seen each other in 4 years. There's also a spelling mistake there. As for Macro, he'd never met her, obviously. Not face to face anyway. I mentioned her a few times, which always made him crack some horrible stupid joke. This was their first time talking together. At least it was their first time sharing space together, because nobody out of the 3 of us was saying anything. Naturally, this was the metro, so most people were quiet. If we said anything, we'd be drowned out by noise coming from the metro moving. Some people didn't care though, such as a group of 5 teens close by. If I strained my ear, I could almost make out what they were saying. Shooting a glance at them, I saw one of them had long pink hair and 2 pigtails. Looked back at Jasmine, who had the same hair colour. Of course, those weren't natural. They were just dye. I could tell Jasmine's real hair colour was brown, since her eyebrows were that colour, and she didn't dye those. Kinda liked her better with brown hair, personally. Colours, again. My thoughts were back to the subject of colours. Maybe I just turned into a zombie from waiting in the metro this long. As I spoke the name of the station we were at, but it wasn't our stop. I dismissed it, pulling myself to the side a little to avoid a woman leaving the train. Right afterwards, 2 men entered and took her place. Both were businessmen who probably had a lot of success, judging by their very stern allure. Meanwhile, I was just a pizza delivery man, but also a student. But that wasn't quite true. While that hadn't been the case before 3 p.m. today, now I was entirely free from university. Assuming I passed my exams anyway. Finally, I'd had my bachelor's degree and I started getting real jobs, what I wanted to do instead of the serviceable ingrats. The idea did make me quite giddy, and it was the reason why Jasmine was here too. Tonight we were going to party, because not only did I finish my exams, but so did Marco. This meant we potentially had a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in the same apartment. Granted, mine was in fine arts, and his degree was in some science thing I never understood. Picked up some party games we could play on Nimbus, the multi-platform game store. Hopefully that would be a hit. The real hit was not having any more stress from dealing with exams, tests, and homework. I was now my own man. That thought was reassuring me, because I wasn't the strongest guy at heart. Could you believe it? 24 years old and I still felt like an insecure teenager. I pressed my hand against my chest, dragging it down a little while, exhaling. Some girl further down the train looked at me strangely. She had no idea what I truly felt. Once again the train stopped. Did that every few minutes depending on how far apart the stations were. Walking from one to the other would take ages, so this was great, but this place was always so damn cramped. The woman leaving early had some vacant space. But since she was replaced by two men, not much came from it. Normally I was sitting and it was a lot more relaxing, but now I was on my 2 feet. I was also holding onto the pole in the middle that to keep my balance. I hated that. This thing was covered in germs. I needed to wash my hands soon. At least things got better not long ago, when everyone finally realized it was a good idea to disinfect. Some people were even rocking the face mask still. It had been over a year since that stuff ended though. So many topics were flying through my head. Was I really no longer stressed out? I didn't know, to be honest. But luck had it that the stop had an elderly woman walking out of the train. It had been occupied before, and now it was vacant. As usual, some kind of psychological warfare was instantly triggered. Everyone would be going for that seat. Of course, those who needed it had priority. Thankfully, I was the closest to the seat, so I took a quick glance to see if anybody who needed it was going to take it. Cursing was seemingly clear. Businesswomen were looking at their folders and exchanging hushed words. A group of teens from earlier were on the other side, so them coming here was just a pipe dream. They wouldn't go for it. It was too far. A bunch of people didn't even notice, so they were out of the match as well. I noticed all that very quickly. It was stupid how my attention processed all those details so well in moments like these, but not during my exams. Ultimately, sitting down was meaningless. I knew that. Yeah, I took the seat anyway, before anybody else could. Deep inside, I was triumphant. It was a hollow victory, but victory nonetheless. You had to take them when you could get them. I could tell I won something or another when Marco took a glance at me, as he apparently had been pitting for the seat too. Better luck next time, buddy. Simon 1, Marco 0. Still, we were ways away from home, which meant the battle I won didn't win me the war yet. But we got to the station very quickly. We had a number of them between now and then. I looked at the clock to ascertain the time, since I had left as soon as my exams had been over. It was 5 p.m. I still couldn't believe it took around 2 hours to head to the airport, pick up Jasmine, and come back with public transport. Might have been faster had I possessed my own car, but I wasn't that lucky. I could barely afford my studies. Still, since we were a decent way off, I figured it would be bad if I took a small bit of rest. Nothing fancy, just closing my eyes. Nothing fancy, really? It was really normal. It was a normal situation as they came, and yet, this was still how all this business started. On April 22nd, 2022, I was sitting in the metro minding my own business. Nothing fancy, yet when I closed my eyes, all movement ceased. The train stopped moving completely. I didn't feel the presence of anyone around me anymore. It was like time stood still. Maybe I was asleep. That was the likeliest explanation. Must have been really tired. But as I was drifting off, something grabbed my back. It was a voice. A girl was talking. Never heard that voice before, though. Was it the train announcer? No, that was an older lady. This one was a youthful voice. Who was it? I could barely hear it. She appeared herself louder this time. Listen, if you stay asleep like that, we're gonna be in trouble. Asleep? I wasn't asleep. I could hear what she was saying. Couldn't she see that? My body felt like lead anyway. I couldn't stand up just yet. So, wake up already. Are you okay? The train stopped. She was so insistent too. Who was this girl? Never heard this voice before. As seconds passed and my body became operational again, it was stiff all over, as if I'd been deep in sleep. Perhaps she was right. Maybe I dozed off really hard there. Hey, wake up already. Eyes finally opened. Seemed as though I'd fallen asleep indeed. That was embarrassing, but now I couldn't deny it. Took a look around and noticed things were just as she said. Train has stopped. It never came to a standstill like this unless it offloaded a few of its passengers, or it was no longer in service for the day. Huh. Girl next to me was Jasmine. For some reason I couldn't put her face to her voice before, but now it became all too apparent. I was still a little too groggy for my nap, so I chose to listen to her before doing any sort of exploration. Yeah, I don't know what happened, and I'm pretty weirded out. I sat down for a moment, and right after that I was alone here with you. It seemed like the fact was making her embarrassed too, because her cheeks took on a slightly rosy tint. I had to assume she wasn't lying about it then. I have no idea where Marco is. This is a bother. Did he leave us behind? No, he's not the type. Probably waiting outside to jump scare us. I swear this is not normal. I sat down and right then everyone else vanished in the span of a single moment, I tell you. Okay, I get it. So you fell asleep too, and... No, my eyes were open. Sure. Teased her. For a moment I thought I got through to her, but she shook her head with an expirated sigh. My companion threw her arms to expose the rest of the train. This place is very strange. Feel free to have a quick look around before we go. Don't worry, we have plenty of time. I woke up several minutes ago, and it still hasn't moved. Woke up? Is that right? So you did sleep? Oh, shut up. Either way, I decided to conduct my search around this place. The strange panel in the back of the train was especially interesting. When I'd be done, I'd just go for the exit. Okay, let's have a look around. Okay, the station was completely deserted outside. There was absolutely no one I could see. Same could be said for the other side, too. Both sides were empty. Normally trains passed on both sides as well, but if what Jasmine said was true, the fact that this one didn't move and the fact that no other passed by was very strange. Still, my destination was right outside the train. Perhaps I'd better understand what I was seeing out there. Walls were covered in metal plates too. This wasn't the stations looked like normally. This was not, in fact, a stripper pole. It was much more dangerous. First of all, this pole was covered in jams. People held onto it, keeping themselves balanced when the train was moving, since most had to stand up. Sometimes the train was packed, so it was squeezed like sardines against one another, and it was pretty damn hard to breathe as well. I oftentimes didn't need to hold on to it, because I mastered the art of spreading my weight over my legs. What I had to do was open them a bit wider than usual, stand perpendicular to our directional movement. By shifting my weight accordingly, I couldn't fight off the pull of gravity. Then I didn't have to hold on to those things. But all against those damn germs. Okay, what about the seats? These were the seats furnishing the train's compartments. They were pretty small and snugly squished together to maximize the use of space. Also weren't comfortable. Probably done on purpose so people didn't sit down if they could avoid it. Or maybe so that they wouldn't fight over the seats. Clearly that didn't work out in the Metro's favour. Okay, and then back here, that wall was weird. It was separating the compartments from the frontal one. There was a faint outline of a door, as if the conductor cabin could be accessed, but there was no handle. Had that always been there? Maybe. I was perhaps only noticing it now because I was looking around. Maybe it was just my imagination, but I felt like I was caged in. Looking around on the opposite side, I saw they blocked off the compartment from the rest of the train. No, a wall with a large red X had been installed between its slice of two compartments. It was as if it was only accessible ones would be these ones. Something strange was going on. Why would they put this wall up? Okay, we can talk to Jasmine before we leave. So you fell asleep, right? I know I said wake up, but I really didn't. I sat down, everyone instantly vanished. It was instantaneous, like I keep telling you. That's pretty whack. I know, right? Couldn't believe what she was saying. She definitely fell asleep, but she's too proud to admit it. I looked outside of the train through one of the windows. There's no telling which station this was. Was it not moving away? Were we at the end of the line? I stopped way earlier than that. It would be such a bummer if this was the case. I don't know why it's stuck here, but I don't think we missed our stop. For some reason, I think this is it. On one hand, the fact that it's not moving is weirdly weirding me out. On the other hand, we didn't miss our stop, so maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe something happened. They evacuated the area and we just missed it. If that's the case, we should hurry outside then. But if it is, it's not something we need to worry about too much. Nothing's happened for several minutes. But, and consider this, if it was an earthquake for example, maybe we're just between two tremors. We should hurry out of here. Oh, there's no earthquake here. Where do you think we live? In Montreal? That's where you live, at least. Anyway, there's no earthquake here. Take your time. Nothing else is happening. Okay. It makes me a little bit suspicious. Okay, I'm ready to go. Finally. I've been waiting for you even if you were asleep. Because I don't really want to go without you. Both the doors closed behind me, right? Yeah, good thinking. Now that we're done, let's go. First stepped out of the train. Yeah, this is definitely a familiar sight. Looked at the strange plates in the walls for a few moments until something snapped me back. Doors to the trains closed behind me, which made me turn around quickly. It's gone away now? The question fell on deaf ears as Jasmine and I watched it roll away. Soon it was gone, just like that. Should we have stayed inside? I don't think so, no. It may sound strange, but I have a feeling, was it waiting for us to leave before doing the same? Trains don't wait for people, Jasmine. It's the people who wait for the trains. At any rate, I also noticed something strange earlier. She pointed at me. Before I could act indignant, I took a look behind myself and noticed that a walking committee of two was coming towards us. Was she pointing at them? Yeah, she was definitely pointing at me. Directly at my neck, in fact. That couldn't wait. Well, that could wait. For now, I stared at the two who were coming up to us. It was strange enough that I would have considered her words were meant for the two of them. Oh, hey there. Okay, we definitely haven't met you before. First duo was an old man. Looked so old his hair was entirely white. No, wait. There was a slight greyish tint to it, too. Maybe he was in his 60s, maybe 70s. His outfit was all sorts of strange. Pushed over he wore several layers. White shirts, grey vest with golden stripes, and two metallic shoulder pads. He also had a bag at his side. Oh, I wonder if this is the person who shot at Jasmine, because they... I wonder. The one accompanying him was much younger. I could see most of her face. Well, I couldn't see most of her face, so I couldn't tell how young she was. But from what she looked, or how she looked, she must have been in her 20s too, just like Jasmine, Macro and I. However, there was a clear difference between us. Namely, she was adorned with very strange things. There was a headset on her, along with the facial plate mask. She was playing some sort of game. Stranger even was the rest of her outfit. Made me think of Japanese shrine maidens. It wasn't exactly clear what the dress was supposed to be, but it was a sharp contrast to the technology on her head. Now, young man, it's rude to stare, you know. I averted my eyes for a moment while Jasmine took the lead. Hello. Sorry to bother you, but we're kind of lost and... Of course, I understand. We're all in the same predicament as you, I am afraid. We were starting to believe we were the only ones here, but you're right in a train much like us. We've been discussing about investigating when you came out, and now the train is gone. Ah, right. So anyway, my name is... Are you sure you want to give your name to a very old man such as myself? Information can be troublesome if it falls into the wrong hands. Now, this is where we probably got the idea to say our initials. Well, I'm glad you're willing to trust me that much. It doesn't matter if we all call ourselves by something else, no? Didn't understand what you're suggesting. Jasmine did not seem to share my confusion, instead considering his work carefully. Perhaps she figured this meeting was too strange, as she backpedaled on her decision. You're right. I feel like this is a little unorthodox, so fine then. You can call me Jay. How about that? Jay? Or do you mean the letter J? Letter is fine. It's like a nickname. Not much of one, but one nonetheless. Couldn't fathom why she was so hesitant about this. Had she participated in something like this before? Suddenly, a cold feeling spread through my spine. Was this dangerous in some fashion? No, Simon. You had to stop thinking that way. There had to be some kind of explanation. And then I'll be, S. Very well, that seems sensible enough. Lady, I must say, will be E in that case. As for me, I will be A, as in a knight of justice. At your service. Pushed a hand on his chest, acting solemn about it. If he really was a knight, that might explain his weird appearance, though there was something off about him. It was as if a part of what he had said didn't seem sincere. I have several questions, and I may have several answers. Please, don't be afraid. Well, first of all, to address a bit weird, no? But that doesn't come off as rude of me. Oh, it's quite alright. Yeah, I wasn't saying anything, but it's a little out there. Don't worry about it. What you both should be worried over, I think, is the fact we are wearing collars. Squint it a little. That's right. Around his neck was a strange black collar. It was also present around E's neck, and when I looked at Jasmine, it seemed she had one too. When I said we, I meant all of us. You both have one just like ours too. I'm afraid that is not part of my usual fashion. Yeah, I noticed it earlier. That must have been what she was pointing at before the two of them came up to us. I wanted to examine it closer, but I couldn't obviously see mine. I didn't think it would be polite to ask either the two others. Can you turn around, Jay? I want to see the back. Looks a bit strange. Looks a bit stranger. Oh, huh. Okay then. That's what I thought. The back was a strange circle, like some kind of red scanner, or more like a large button. Perhaps pressing it would release the collar, but if that was the case, then why did we wear these? Equally possible the button was dangerous. I left it alone for now, not willing to take chances. Still, while examining it closely, a thought flashed by me. Remembered when I'd been in the train earlier. I was in the train with Marco. Right, speaking of which, where was Marco anyway? Didn't try to scare us like I thought he would. Some sort of lock in the back, I think. It's a glowing red button, but I don't think it would be a good idea to press it. Just don't know what will happen. I see. Something's coming. Pulled away looking in the direction of the something was coming from. It was another train, arrived at our side of the station, just like ours had been stopped earlier. Interesting. I can see two men in this one. Jasmine, A, and I went over to the window to stare. The only one who hadn't moved at all was E, in fact. She hadn't spoken even once ever since the two of them came up to us. But all those thoughts were dispelled when I noticed one of the two men inside the train was Marco. The other one was a large buck man. He didn't look particularly young. I could tell because he was a redhead, and even in his hair had several long streaks of grey hair scattered throughout, nearly coming to one side. The other was a bit more of a mess. So it was like when we arrived too. Yeah, we need to open these doors. Don't see how we can do it, but let's try, I guess. Naturally, I figured these doors would open even if we tried, as it was an automated system. Yet we decided to have a look around the train, just in case. Okay, so yeah, generally speaking, there was also a driver, or conductor I guess, who sat in the frontal cabin of the train. There was also a second cabin in the back, with another one of them. Together, if they were combined, they'd form a giant robot. But on a more serious note, I wanted to the back of the train to try and see if I could catch a glance of who was driving us around. But as much as I tried to look inside, I couldn't see anything. The view through the windows was completely dark. If anyone was inside, I wouldn't know. It was the same for the other side too. Knocked on the front driver compartment door. Hey, anybody home? Special pizza delivery straight to the train. Slightly hollow sound resonated on its own without any answer from within. I doubt they're hungry. The likeliest scenario is that if there's someone there, they don't want to come out. However, due to the way it's closed, I don't think this door even opens. Wait, so they wouldn't be able to come out even if they wanted? Precisely. There probably is no one in the cabin then. I thought that was strange. Trains don't work that way. It's definitely very strange. Yeah, there was a tiny bit of space in this area. If I wanted, I could drop down to the rails below, between the train and the side of the station itself. I really wanted to go there so I could look at the train from close up, but that was ridiculously dangerous for a few reasons. First of all, the rails were electrified, so if I touched them directly, I'd definitely be incinerated, which was no joke. Second of all, if I went down there, I could get hit by the train if it took off again. That's just a risk I didn't want to take. Both of those were shitty deaths, and I at least had enough self-respect to not want to die one other way. So much of that, maybe it would have helped, but too dangerous for sure. However, the fact that the middle of the compartments was otherwise made of a rubbery surface gave me an idea. Hey Jay, come over here. This is softer, maybe we can break through. No, even I can tell that that's not going to work. Might be rubbery, but that's just to allow the train to turn. If it's wide open, which it is, you point out the opening between the compartments. Then it has to be solid, and well, that is closed. If it is softer, I doubt we can break through this part. I crossed my arms as Jasmine continued examining the spot, even if nothing came of it. Okay, well, let's check the doors then. Sometimes the best solution to a problem was a direct one. Went to the door as my first pick and tried to see if there was any other way my fingers could fit underneath to pull them open. I don't think that's going to work. Jasmine saw what I was trying to do, and I had to admit she was right. I reluctantly let go of it. What now then? Let's regroup and think about it again. Okay, with that, I'm actually going to end it here, because I've been playing this for quite a while. Yeah, this story has definitely got me intrigued. Really liking it so far. Definitely reminding me of games like the 999 series. So, yeah, if you guys want to play this for yourself and find out what is happening for yourselves, link will be down in the description below, and yeah, we'll be moving on to the next game.